Hello everybody, my name is Ashley Severe and I'll be your instructor today. In this lesson we're going to cover some comprehensive desk adjusting. We're going to be going over the claim processing path for desk adjusters. Also in this lesson, we're going to listen to live calls as examples of how to handle first contacts and how to address different types of insurance. In most cases, when it comes to insurance claims, when you speak to the insured or as they reach out to you for the very first time, in most cases, you are the first responder. In these times of loss, these insureds have gone through possibly a traumatic experience. Some may not have ever experienced filing a claim before in their lives or a catastrophic event. Empathy should always be your talking point of reference. It should be the main thing that you should focus on when talking with an insured. Communication must be sympathetic, concise, timely, and accurate. First order of business when you receive a claim is to locate the first notice of loss. Information you want to find out primarily is who submitted the claim, so that when you reach out to the insured, you know who you're talking to. You want to familiarize yourself with the damages that was reported when the claim was being placed. And you also want to familiarize yourself with how and when the damage occurred. The question to when the damage occurred is very important because you want to make sure that the insured's policy was enforced on the date of loss. And you'll find that information on the first notice of loss. Additional information you'll also find in the first notice of loss is the coverages for the policy limits, deductibles, endorsements. What was the policy inception date relevant to the date of the loss? And if the policy is less than 2 years old, you want to make sure you order an ISO report search. An ISO report is a tool that insurance companies use to keep track of claims that were called in on that particular property, whether it was that insured that called that claim in or whether it was a previous owner that called the claim in. The objective of this search is to make sure that the insured is not filing a second claim for the same damages. When dealing with AAA insurance policies, you want to look for house and home policies for the roof surface agreement, endorsement, or the roof surface extended surface agreement. These documents are very important when it comes to wind damage and hail damage, or roof damage in particular, on a claim. Here's an example of a first notice of loss. As you will notice on the first notice of loss, you have the claim number at the top, and you have status of DOL. DOL is date of loss. And it says here that the policy is in place. This is very important when you're looking at a claim for the first time. You want to make sure that their policy was in place at the time the loss is being reported. And here is an example of the many things we just talked about that you will find on a first notice of loss. This is page 1. This is additional information. Just zoomed in. You have your inception date, expiration date, insurance information, and the damages that's being called in. You have the risk location, you have the loss description, you have the lien holder information, your coverages and deductibles, and you also have your endorsement description. And in addition, it gives you current wind mitigation features on the home, if certain mitigations were done to the home. Once you have reviewed all the pertinent information, you want to set your reserves. The reserves are set and are required to be set by every insurance carrier once you receive a claim. The objective of the reserve is to be able to account for how much money needs to be set apart for this claim that's been called in. This reserve is not a firm number, but your professional guesstimate, and it is a guesstimate, of what the cost of this repair may end up being. You don't want to be too high, and you definitely don't want to be too low. You want to give a professional, educated guess. In the course of my career as an adjuster, I have come to the realization that you can never go wrong with setting a reserve of $7,500 for any claim called in. Or if you're directed by the carrier for how much to state for your reserve, for your initial reserves, you want to stick with that number. But 7,500 is a safe number. Thirdly, you want to do a weather research on that property. There are different ways that you can pull up weather reports. You can do it in Exact Analysis. You can pull up a weather report in PLRB, Weather Research. And you also can pull up a weather report simply by typing the city, the state, followed by the word Interactive Hail Map. And normally the very first result in that search, it will look something like this: Hail Map for Miami, Florida, Interactive Hail Maps. And when you open it up, it would lead you to weather reports for that area in the city of Miami, and they will give you specific locations where there was a wind event or a hail event. How to navigate PLRB for weather reports and building codes. You open up your web browser and you go to plrb.org. You log in, and then you want to go to Weather and CATs tab. Now you want to scroll down, Property Lines. Once you get the property lines, you want to scroll down to where it says Weather CATs. Now in the next window, on the left-hand side, you have categories below here underneath historical weather. And you choose the weather that you want to pull up the history on. You can go ahead and select Hail Search, Wind, or Tornado. They have historical radar viewer, but that's not necessarily in our field of work that you're going to need radar viewer. But we're going to go ahead and select Hail Search. And another window opens up. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. I'm just going to hit Don't Show This Again because it's not helpful to me. On the left-hand side, we're going to select the date range by selecting the date and year, month and year. And I'm just going to make it January 1st, 2025 to January 15th, 2026. And I'm going to hit, and before I hit apply, I'm going to punch in the address of the claim. For all intents and purposes, I'm just going to punch in a generic address. It's going to bring me to this address. After I've selected the dates, my beginning date, my end date, I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. Once applied, it pulls up any event that has happened within the range dates near this property. So far, I only see 3 Ps. And if we look at the hail report here, it says preliminary reports. So the closest hail, I would say it was here, it said 1-inch hail was reported in Apopka. Apopka is approximately, and it gives you the location of where the hail was reported. Now, as you can see, that's quite a ways from our property. So in order for us to know how far away this is from the property, because that is important, because you need to know if this hail in Apopka affected the address here when it happened. Now, the date that happened here was May 8th, 2028. So on the left-hand side here, there's tools here. You have the date range, you have print, you have measurement, you have geo lookup, and you have additional information here. What we're looking for is measurement. We want to measure the distance between the 2 points. So we're going to go ahead and select miles, the distance. We want to click here where the report is preliminary, and then we're going to click on where our property is located. That's 4.63 miles from the property. We're going to clear that, and we're going to click and see where the other one is at. It's going to be this one here over in Maitland, and our property was generally right here. That's about 5.78 miles, a little bit closer. We'll go ahead and clear that. We're going to select this claim here, and property was located over here, 4.62 miles. Well, no, let's clear that. Property was located over here. .38 miles from the tenant property. So looking at the distances, would that affect this property here? I would say not, because you want to see within 1 mile if there's hail activity within that property for it to be affected in that area. So according to this report, in the last year, there was no hail affecting this area of my lost property. Now, the interesting thing you can also use here, if we were to go back to the beginning, select weather and cats, as we did before, property lines, and instead of weather and cat, we want to look up building codes. Punch in my address here, 7258, same address. Right. Punch in some more information, then it populates it, and I'm going to hit submit. Pulls up the property, building code 2023 building code, recently renewed. And it begins to tell you, give you some items here that are important towards insurance that should be covered in the claim. One of them is ice barrier. It's not required in the state of Florida. All right. The other one is drip edge. It is required in the state of Florida. Another one that states Florida is a matching state. So matching is required in the state of Florida. Panel sheeting tells you what the wrap span should be and the wood structure underneath the panels should be in order for you to have a solid nailing platform. The interesting thing that I wanted to point out that also gives you a weather events map. Gives you an idea of different events that have happened nearby. And one of them here indicates a tornado. That there was a tornado near the property. Maybe that is the one that's affected and they're reporting. Or is it possible that there was a tornado the same in our insurance area on the date of loss? Let's look and see. And here you have the listed dates. All right, now it doesn't say it happened on top of the property, but in the vicinity of the property. So on September 11, 2023, there was an event. September 8th, 2023, there was an event. September 23rd to Saturday, September 28th, Hurricane Helene, and so on and so forth. So it gives you additional information for you to take into account. And also information where you can go and look up the weather report and see what's going on those dates. You can narrow down your search dates and pull up a report for those areas. So PLRB is a very good resource for you to look up weather reports. Once you have found the weather report that you're looking for in the area of the lost property, you want to go ahead and click on Official Report or Preliminary Report. And then you want to enlarge it by clicking on the small box here. Once you've enlarged the box, go ahead and hit Control P for print. Print the PDF, save as a PDF. Locate the file, location of the file where you want to save this to, so that you can later on upload it into ExactAnalysis. And you go ahead and hit save. Save the report. Pulling up weather reports using your web browser. On your web browser, you want to type in Hail Report, and you type in the city that you want it for, and then you type in Interactive Hail Map. And this will work for any city in the United States. Once it populates the web search results, you scroll down typically the very first result that comes up will be the maps that you're looking for. It will begin with Interactive Hail Maps. And here you go, Hail Map for Miami, Florida, Interactive Maps. You want to click on it. Verification successful. And here it starts off with the Miami, Florida area has 25 reports of on-the-ground hail by trained spotters and has been under severe weather warnings 12 times during the past 12 months. Doppler radar has detected hail at or near Miami, Florida on 51 occasions, including 5 occasions during the past year. So now you want to scroll down and you want to look at those occasions. And here it begins to list the occasions and the timelines and dates. You find the date that pertains to your area. And in these descriptions, it gives where the hail hit, what cities, what counties, what locations. And you find the one that applies to you, to your loss claim, that is. Let's see how far back it goes. It goes to 6/12/2024. Of course, the dates here will be limited. It won't go beyond. Looks like the 2-year limit there. But this is also very useful. Once you found what you're looking for, you just highlight it and copy it to your clipboard. You can screenshot just that section and add that to your reports in ExactAnalysis. Fourthly, when reviewing this claim, you want to determine if this claim can be handled at the desk level, or does it need to be assigned to a field adjuster to go out and perform an actual field inspection. Now you may be wondering, what do you mean handle the claim at the desk level? Well, there are times where you can handle a claim strictly from the desk level without sending a field adjuster out, utilizing the Claims X experience in ExactAnalysis, where you're able to send a link to the insured where they will be able to access and click the link, and it will establish a secure link between you and that insured's phone. And they can walk you through the home using their phone. They can take measurements, they can take photos, and all of that will be automatically uploaded into ExactAnalysis. And you can finalize the claim using the Claims X experience. Typical claims that you can finalize using Claims X. You want to ask the question for number 1, is this a water damage claim? That can be handled at the desk level. Is this a flood claim? That can be handled at the desk level, especially if there is no coverage for flood. You can establish that using the Claims X experience and the video conferencing with the insured. Thirdly, is this a flooded basement with a sump pump? If it has the sump pump endorsement, you can handle this at the desk level, because normal sump pump endorsements, they have a policy limit of $5,000 or whatever the limit is. But if you can establish that it is a sump pump endorsement on the policy, and the damages is from the failure of a sump pump, from water entering the basement or the ground level, this can be handled at the desk level. Fourthly, is this a food loss only claim? That can be handled at the desk level and doesn't necessarily require you assigning it to the field. After you have made those assessments, you have reviewed the first notice of loss, you have considered if the claim could be handled at the desk level, you have reviewed all the additional information of the policy, if the policy is 2 years old or less, you reviewed the ISO report. Now it's time to make your quality first contact. In some cases, this is the most critical and important part of the entire claims handling process. When making your first quality contact, you want to document that contact. It is important for you to confirm with your deploying IA how this process is done. Notes must be entered in XactAnalysis in real time. When talking to the insured, you want to make sure that you introduce yourself as an insurance adjuster for the carrier that you are representing, not your IA firm, but the carrier itself. One good practice to use when making your quality first contact, especially if this is a catastrophic event, is to inquire about the safety and the well-being of the insured. Remember, you always want to be speaking from the reference of empathy. So be empathetic. Let's not forget the human side of adjusting. Here are some examples of contact note templates that you can use. And remember, you have to make your quality first contact within a 24-hour period. If you reach out to the insured and no one answers and you're not able to leave a voice message, here's a note that you can enter in XactAnalysis. I attempted to contact the insured at all provided numbers, and you want to make sure you list the number that you called. There was no answer, and I was unable to leave a message. Here's an example. When you reach out to an insured, there's no answer, and you left a message. I attempted to contact the insured at the numbers provided, and you want to list the number that you called, but there was no answer. I left a message advising that I was their claims representative and asked that they contact me at their earliest convenience. And then you want to make sure you make additional attempts for the next 2 days. And if your attempts are still unsuccessful, you want to send a reservation of rights letter and a contact letter. You want to email them these reservation of rights, and you want to send this out in the mail. So if they have not received it in the mail, they got it in the email. If they have not received it in the email, they receive a physical copy in the mail. And then you document that you have sent out this letter via email and in the mail service. You document in XactAnalysis, and additionally, you make your document as well in whatever CMS system that the carrier is using. Documentation is important. If it's not documented, it never happened. So every phone call you make regarding a claim, you document the results of that phone call. Every conversation you have with the insured or a contractor or a public adjuster or attorney, you make sure that you document every conversation that you have regarding that claim. If it wasn't documented, it never happened. If you make a successful contact when speaking with the insured, here's some information that you want to gather from the insured. I called and spoke with, and you want to put down who you spoke with. I introduced myself as the adjuster assigned to their claim. If you are a field adjuster, you want to put down the appointment date and time of the inspection. In this case, as being a desk adjuster, that would not apply. So you can omit that information. You want to make sure that you get the age of the roof. You want to inquire, is there interior damage? Yes or no. Is there damage to any fencing? Yes or no. Is there any trees down or any structures? Yes or no. You want to gather the information of the mortgage lien holder. And then you want to put down who you confirmed it with. Who did you speak with that confirmed the mortgage lien holder on the lost property? And then you put down who the mortgage lien holder is, and if there is any account information associated with, make sure you take that down and document it as well. Here's an example of a quality first contact.
Good morning. May I please speak with Ms. Sharon Johnson if she's available?
Good morning. This is she. May I ask who's speaking?
Yes, Ms. Johnson. My name is Osha Levine, and I'm calling you from Severe RPM Insurance Company. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing good. I could be better. How about yourself?
I am doing well. But before I begin, ma'am, I would like to see how everyone is doing.
We're doing okay. We had a really bad storm that came our way, but we're doing okay.
Okay. Was there anyone hurt, ma'am?
No, we're fine. We were out of power for a couple of hours, but we're okay now.
So before we get started, as I stated, I have a few questions that I would need to clarify. Ms. Johnson, could you please clarify your address if you don't mind?
Yes, it's 2990 Wild Circle, Miami, Florida.
Okay. And when was your date of loss, or when did this damage occur?
It was on it was in June 4th, 2018.
Okay. Okay, prior to this event, did you have any other events, ma'am?
No.
Okay. Okay, could you please tell me what happened?
So we had, I'm assuming it was a hailstorm and a windstorm damaged to my roof.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about that, but I know there is damage done to the roof.
Okay, now when you say that there's damage done to the roof, could you expand on that a little more? Do you have any internal leaks? Is there any leaks in the home?
Some tiles are missing, and there's some tiles that look loose from where I can see.
Okay.
And there's also some dent on the roof.
Did you say dents, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Now, ma'am, have you called the contractor to come out as of yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay. The reason I'm asking, because if there's any leaks coming in, they can determine that, and you may need a tarp. So have he mentioned that you will need a tarp? Have you noticed any internal leaks, any water stains on your ceiling, ma'am?
There are no leaks, but we did reach out to Nolan's Roofing.
Okay. Let me document Nolan's Roofing. Okay. Okay, thank you for that information.
No problem.
Okay. So, ma'am, what I would like to do now is to go over your coverage. Would that be okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I see for coverage A, you have 240,000. And coverage A, let me explain what that is, because sometimes the insureds may not exactly understand some of the terminology as it pertains to their policies. So under coverage A covers the home itself. So coverage A would cover your roof, anything on the inside, if you have any sheetrock damage, any internal damage within the home, any damage to the home is what coverage A would cover.
Okay.
Okay, now coverage B that would cover any additional structures. So let's say you had a shed or a barn that was damaged, that would be your coverage B. Okay.
Okay.
And coverage C is personal property. So if anything, any of your personal property, TVs, clothing, anything like that was damaged, that would be coverage C. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So for coverage A, you have 240,000. For coverage B, you have 5,320, and for coverage C, which is personal property, you have $96,700. Do you have any questions in reference to your coverage?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Only for, I'm sorry, how about the deductibles?
Well, that's what I'm going to go over as well, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so being that this is storm related damage, your deductible is $500. Okay.
Okay. Do I need to pay that first before I get any help?
Well, let me explain how that works. So typically how this is going to unfold is that we will sign an adjuster to come out. So the insurance company, Severe, we're going to send out what's called a field adjuster to come out and to assess your loss. Okay. Once the field adjuster comes out and assess your loss, they will put together what's called an estimate. Now, for example, let's say your estimate is, for example, $50,000. Being that your deductible is $500, your deductible would come out of that $50,000 already. Okay.
Okay.
Now, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Let me pause right here to see if you have any questions up until this point.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. So if it's okay with you, I would like to move forward to give you an idea of what's going to happen moving forward. So as I stated, your insurance company is going to send out a field adjuster to to assess your loss. Now, prior to the field adjuster coming out there, they will give you a call. Now, is the number that I have on file a good number for you?
Yes, it's a good number.
Okay, so I have 941-131-7264. Is that a good number?
Yes.
Okay, so the field adjuster will give you a call and set up a date and time that is going to be convenient for you. Now, being as I understood you to say you don't have any damage on the inside of the home, you will not need to be present for him to do an inspection on the outside of the home. But it is recommended that that you be present, and you can have your contractor there if you like. This way, if you have any questions. Now, the field adjuster cannot make any coverage decisions. He or she is just there to assess your damage. And if there is damage, they will provide an estimate, and I will explain what an estimate is, okay?
Okay.
So the field adjuster will call you at a date and time that is convenient for you, so that everyone can be on the same page, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask another question. Do you have any pets that we need to be aware of?
I do. I have a dog, but she'll be inside.
I'm sorry, ma'am, your phone was breaking up. Can you repeat that, please?
I have a dog, but the dog won't be outside.
Okay, well, I will also let the field adjuster know, so they will, be conscious that there is a dog that is on the property. But yes, we would recommend that the dog, be locked up at least while the inspection is going on. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, once the field adjuster come out there, as I stated, they're going to assess your loss. Once he or she assess your loss, what they will do is write what's called an estimate. Now, what an estimate is, ma'am, it's a document that breaks down where the damage is. So, for example, roof, and he's going to write down exactly what they observe, and they're going to do that visually and with photos. And based on that damage, they're going to generate an estimate, and an estimate is going to give us a general idea of what the insurance company needs to pay for and needs to cover, providing they find damage. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, after the field adjuster comes out and assess the damage, that report will come back to me. I am your desk adjuster. My name is Ocean Levine. And before you give me permission to end this call, you will have all of my contact information. Because typically what happens is later on, you may see something or you may think of something, some questions you may want to ask me. I want you to have all of my information. So in case you need to call me, you will have that information. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So do you have any questions at this point?
I have one. I didn't mention earlier about I had a lot of food damage because we were out of power. So
Mhm.
how does that plays into my coverage?
Okay, I'm going to get to that. So that would be under your personal property, because your food is your personal property. So typically, what you would need to do now, is that food still on site? Meaning, is that food still within your home, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would just need you to do is just take pictures of it if you can, because we have to have some type of documentation.
Okay.
Okay, so you can take pictures of it, and typically, and for example, and I'm going to need, what I will send you is a log, is a food log, and you can write down the food that was lost. For example, 10 pounds of chicken, and give me a good guesstimation of what that costs. So typically what I'm looking at is that you do have $500 of worth of food loss coverage. Okay.
Okay.
So once I receive that documentation, we can go ahead and begin that process. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
So again, so before we end this call, you will have my email address and you will have my phone number. Okay. So any documents that you need to send me, you can send them to me via email. But in the subject line, I will need you to put your claim number. Okay, so let me know when you're ready for your claim number.
I'm ready.
Okay, your claim number is 471-2789. Okay?
Okay, I got it.
Okay, so in the subject line, just put your claim number and you can begin to upload your documents. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure I have everything. Okay. So, Ms. Johnson, at this point, do you have any questions for me?
No, I do not.
Okay, now let me ask another question. Um, do you still have a mortgage company?
Yes, I do.
Okay, could you please tell me the name of your mortgage company?
Yes, it's Twin Hill Mortgage.
Sure, so I do have the correct address. I have the contact phone number. I've given you your claim number. We've clarified the mortgage company. And we've dealt with the food loss. Okay, now what I would like to do, Ms. Johnson, is to give you my email address and my contact number. Okay, so my email address is oceanlevine@severeinsurance.net. And my phone number is 646-331-2764.
Okay.
Okay, do you have any other questions for me?
No, Miss Ocean, I really appreciate your help today.
Okay, well, Ms. Johnson, I do know that this can be a very difficult time, but rest assured that you are with a very good insurance company, and we take care of our members. So I want you to continue to be encouraged. Okay,
All right.
do know this is a difficult time, okay? And if you have any questions or concerns, please give me a call. My work hours are from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Being that we're getting a lot of calls, if I do not answer, please leave me a message or you can email me. And typically, I will get back to you within 24 hours, if not sooner. Okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. Do you have any other questions for me, ma'am?
No, I do not. Thank you, Miss Ocean.
You are quite welcome. And Ms. Johnson, continue to be encouraged, okay?
I appreciate it. You too.
You're welcome, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Here's an example of handling a difficult quality first contact or a difficult call. Bad customer service occurs when a business fails to meet customer expectations, often characterized by rude behavior, long wait times, and poor communication. This can lead to customer dissatisfaction and a loss of loyalty, as many customers will choose to take their business elsewhere after a negative experience. Your job as an insurance claims adjuster, desk adjuster, is to mitigate against the possibility of that happening. So let's listen to this call and tell me what you think about it.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Severe Insurance. This is Ocean Levine. How can I assist you?
Hello, my name is Brian Johnson. I've called in a claim about 4 days ago. And what name did you say? What's your name?
My name is Ocean Levine, sir.
I thought my adjuster was Terrence Crawford. You mean to tell me they sent my claim to someone else?
Yes, they did, sir. Your claim has now been reassigned to me. Unfortunately, these things can happen. But how can I assist you, sir?
Well, I called in a claim about 4 days ago, and Terrence Crawford was supposed to be my adjuster. I have not heard anything back from him. I have leaks in my house. I have no power. A tree has fallen and hit my roof. I have no water. And I haven't heard anything. I have standing water in my house right now. And ever since for 4 days now, and I haven't heard anything from my insurance company. I pay my premium faithfully for the last 10 years. And I don't even know if I'm going to renew again. I mean, I thought I was in good hands. I mean, what do I do now?
Well, sir, I am certainly sorry that you're going through this right now. But I am your adjuster now, sir. And let's just take a minute, take a breath, and let's just go through everything. And thank you for sharing these concerns with me. Sir, do you have your claim number handy?
Yes, I do. My claim number is going to be 3300 495.
Okay. 300-495. Sir, just give me a minute to pull this up. Okay. And sir, could you please tell me your first and last name again, please?
Darren Johnson.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, I have your claim pulled up, sir. Just give me 1 second. Okay, Mr. Johnson, I do see that we have dispatched a field adjuster. Now, has that field adjuster been in contact with you, sir?
I haven't heard from anyone for 4 days.
Okay.
4 days. I have no power. I have no water. I have water actually sitting in my house.
I do see that we did the first notice of contact, meaning that we initially spoke to you. And typically after we do the first notice of contact, sir, we will dispatch a field adjuster. Now, given the severity of more claims in your area, sir, even though your claim is equally important, it may take that field adjuster a day or two. But what I will personally do, sir, once I have the permission to release this call from you, is give the field adjuster, his name is Herman Moore. That will be the field adjuster that will be contacting you to set up a date and time.
Can I have his number? Because I'm tired of sitting around and waiting.
Okay, now I have his email address, sir. So what I will do, sir, I will send I will send him an email to contact you ASAP. And what I will also do, sir, is I will send his manager an email as well, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so now did I understand you to say that you have no water, sir?
I have no water and I have no power. I'm
Okay.
living in caveman days for the last 4 days and I'm tired.
Okay, give me 1 second. Well, Mr. Johnson, I do see that you do have an ALE endorsement, sir. And what that is, have your policy been explained to you, your coverage, sir?
I think I understand what that means. That's
Okay.
like if I can't live in my home, they would provide some kind of living expenses. Now, doesn't that work like on reimbursement, or do you guys like provide housing up front, or is this something that I need to give you a receipt if I were to relocate, go into a hotel or something?
Well, Mr. Johnson, all three are correct. But the way we try to do it is what I will do is I will call with your approval and set up. We deal with a company that can set all of this up for you because what we try to do is take a lot of the pressure off the insured, which is yourself, sir. So I can get everything set up, sir, for some ALE. The fact that you have standing water, you have no water in your home, and you have no power, sir, this would qualify you for ALE, okay?
Why didn't Terrence Crawford tell me that on the last call? See, this is frustrating.
Mr. Johnson, I do understand this can be frustrating, but I am now your adjuster. I cannot answer for Mr. Terrence, sir. I do apologize for him not getting back to you, but I am your new adjuster. And before you give me the permission to release this call, sir, you will have all my contact information, okay? I will even give you my manager's number just in case there's an issue or problem with reaching me. How does that sound, sir?
That sounds great, but I would really love if we can get this process started so I can get back to some kind of normalcy.
Okay, so let me explain how this is going to unfold, okay, Mr. Johnson? So as I stated, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to the field adjuster and try to get a time frame. And I'm going to also request that he personally give you a call to set up a date and time, being that we do understand now that we're going to be setting up ALE for you, so you will not be in the home. Okay, so we definitely want to get that established. Okay, the second thing we're going to do is I'm going to also send an email to his manager, asking them to kind of get involved too, because this is considered, a serious situation. So we're going to get all of that set up. The next thing I'm going to do, sir, is I'm going to call the organization that we deal with to get your ALE set up. Now they're going to call you and they're going to ask you some questions. Basically, how much is your mortgage? Do you still have a mortgage on your home, sir?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. I didn't have that information in the file. Okay. And sir, how many people lives in your home?
I have 4 people.
Any
Me-
pets?
No, I do not have any pets.
Okay. And could you give me the dynamics of the home, sir?
Yes, me, my wife, and a son and a daughter.
Okay. And no pets, correct?
No pets.
Okay. So these are some of the questions that, they're going to ask you. And you can coordinate with the ALE representative, the areas that's going to be best suited for you. Now, typically, we try to get the families in an Airbnb if we can, and that's going to depend on a few different demographics, the location. Now, if we can't do that in a timely fashion, what we'll do is we'll set the families up in a hotel until we can get something more established. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, sir, did you have any food loss?
Yes, we have no power. I have a
Okay.
refrigerator in the house and one in the garage, and everything's gone.
Okay. And how many days has the power been out?
It's been out for 4 days since the storm.
Okay, 4 days. So, sir, what I would like to do now, let me ask you this, sir. We have something where we can expedite a payment, particularly in reference to your food. And I do see on your policy that you have $500 worth of coverage. Now, that may not cover everything that you have lost, sir, but this is something that I can get to you immediately while we begin to dissect the rest of your claim. Would that be okay with you, sir?
Anything would help right about now.
Okay. Now, okay, we do have something where we can put the funds into your account. Now, is your phone number and email address connected to your banking, sir?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I will take care of that. Okay. Okay. I'm just making some notes, sir. Okay. Now, what I'm going to also do, sir, is I'm going to reach out to a mitigation company so that we can get some water mitigation going on, because I did understand you to say that you had standing water in the home, correct? Now, or have you already done that, sir?
I have no means to hire a company to come out, so I have not been able to do it. I know in my policy I'm responsible to mitigate against further damages, but I don't have the means.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, now I'm seeing from the first notice of loss that this was storm related. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct.
Okay. So if this was storm related, sir, again, I think the main thing we need to do is to get some water mitigation. And the reason we want to do that, sir, is that we want to get on top of this to mitigate damages. Okay, we want to try to mitigate damages. So I will reach out to one of the vendors that we use, unless you have your own vendor. You do not have to use our vendor. So if you do it on your own, you would have to call a mitigation company to come out and try to give an estimate of what it's going to cost. And then you can send that estimate to us before the work starts.
Okay, no, if I can use your people, that would be a whole lot more convenient. Because I'm stressed out right now.
I understand, sir. And it is my job to take some of that stress off you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so it's called the emergency repair program that we use, sir. And typically these are vendors that work with Severe Insurance Company. So we need to get that. Now, sir, you said the water's been standing for 4 days. Have you done anything to try to get the water up or out?
I've just been trying to protect my things that's been wet by picking them up, putting them outside to dry, or
Okay.
elevating them. That's the only thing I've been able to do.
Okay, so Mr. Johnson, what I would need you to do, sir, with technology, if you can take pictures, the best you can, without putting yourself in harm's way, so that we can have a good idea, of what you're seeing before the adjuster can get there. And anything that you have to throw out, please take pictures of it. Once you get established in your ALE, please keep the receipts of your meals that you and your family will have either outside of the hotel or any food that you will have to purchase, okay?
Now, you're saying it's okay if I take pictures, I can start throwing things out? Because I still have food in the refrigerator, and it's been in there for 4 days without power, and my refrigerator is basically destroyed because of the mildew and everything that's in it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So in that case, do I go ahead and take pictures and get rid of the refrigerator as well?
Well, sir, you do not want to get rid of the refrigerator because we will definitely have to have. Okay, so we deal with a company called First Strike, and typically, if the field adjuster is not able to assess it, this is a company that deals specifically with refrigerators and stoves and dishwashers. It's called Strike Check. Let me correct that. And they typically will come out and do a diagnostic, because we would have to get a diagnostic. I do understand you said it's in standing water, but the insurance company is about, we need the documentation. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. No, so do not throw out the refrigerator, sir. Okay. I'm just making my notes. Okay. Now, Mr. Johnson, I just also want to add, sir, again, I apologize for Mr. Terrence not getting back to you because I do understand that this is a very difficult time for you and your family. As your home is a big investment, sir, I do understand that. But if you please just give me the opportunity to work with you, we believe in customer service and we believe in taking care of our customers to the best of our ability and as the policy will allow us to, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you have any more questions or concerns, sir? If you don't, again, I would like to recap if you need a recap, sir.
How long would this process take for me to get back to some kind of normalcy?
Well, typically, sir, it's very difficult for me to say at this point because I have nothing in front of me. So I'm going to expedite getting a field adjuster out there. I'm going to call the mitigation company so that we can begin to extract some of the water out of your home. We can't really start any work until the water is extracted. Now, let me ask another question, sir. Do you have a contractor that you deal with, or do you want us to kind of set everything up for you,
Yeah,
sir?
if you can set everything up for me, that would be great.
Okay, so we'll get that going. So it's kind of hard to say right now, sir. But what I can do, as I stated, is I'm going to give you my contact information, my manager's contact information, and we can keep in contact as much as you'd like. You can call me. We'll get this. We'll get the field adjuster out there as quickly as we can. Once I get the documentation back, sir, and we can see what the damage is, and see how you want to move forward with one of our vendors, or if you have your own contractor. Now, again, sir, you do not have to use our contractors or our vendors. You can use your own. Once we issue payment, you can use whoever you want to use. Okay.
Okay, that sounds great. I really
Okay.
appreciate your help. I was frustrated and upset and really pissed off, but I appreciate the information you provided and you took your time to answer my questions. I'm looking forward to hearing from someone, and I just hope this works out.
Yes, sir. Well, my contact information is my email address is oceanlevine@severeinsurance.net. My contact number is 461-337-4411. My manager's name is Ange, and her number is 431-717-4646. My work hours, sir, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you don't reach me by phone, please send me an email. I typically respond, if not immediately, within 24 hours, okay?
All right, thank you. I hope this claim doesn't get reassigned to anyone because you've been very thorough in explaining, and I really appreciate that. That makes a huge difference. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. And Mr. Johnson, again, just be encouraged because I do understand this is a very difficult time, sir. Okay?
All right. Thank you. Thank you tremendously.
You're welcome, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. After your call with the insured, you want to make an initial determination of coverage. You don't necessarily need to give this information to the insured. This is for your documentation and for you to open coverage inside the CMS system of the insurance carrier. You want to gather info about the loss from the insured and make a broad determination of coverage, and do not discuss with the insured until ready to finalize. You want to be sure that you explain the next steps to the insured. You want to set the expectations. You want to let them know when to expect an inspector. You want to explain to them how their deductible works on the claim. And for insurers that have AAA insurance policies, if they only have the roof surface endorsement and not the roof surface extended service endorsement, take the time to explain how this will affect any potential payments. Step number 6, then you go ahead and assign the claim to the field inspector and create a follow-up activity note and set it for 7 days. The objective here is to set a reminder in the system for you to go back and look at this claim 7 days from the date that you put in the note. You want to set that note inspection schedule, waiting for results. After you receive the inspection report and it is QA approved, you want to review this estimate and figure out what we owe for this claim. Now, when reviewing the estimate after it has been QA approved, just because it's QA approved doesn't mean it's right. So you have a responsibility as a desk adjuster to review the estimate as well. First thing you want to look at is the narrative that the adjuster uploaded for the claim. You want to pay attention to the details of their findings and the proof of their findings, and make note of their findings so that as you go through the photo sheet, it must match the narrative. Second thing that you want to look at is the photos. Make notes of the damages that you noticed that perhaps maybe the field adjuster may have missed, or perhaps they may have said it's not damaged when it's damaged, or it's damaged when it's not damaged, according to your opinion. Bottom line is, you as a desk adjuster must confirm that what you are seeing and looking at is correct, in spite of whoever have seen it or reviewed it prior to you reviewing that estimate. But you do have a responsibility to review that estimate and make sure that it is concise and accurate before you stamp your approval upon that estimate. Third thing that you want to take a look at after you've gone through the photos and you made your notes is that you want to go ahead and review the actual estimate. 3 things that you must make sure that is definitely correct on these estimates before approving them. 1 is the coverages. Make sure that the line items are associated to the right coverage. Secondly is that there's depreciation applied to the estimate. Thirdly, you want to pay attention to your quantities to make sure that there's nothing that looks kind of weird or off. Of course, if you have an line item for toilets and the quantity says 5 toilets, you immediately know there's a problem. So quantities sometimes tells your errors before anything else would. So pay attention to those things, and then you can give your stamp of approval. Then you want to update the reserves, and then you want to request authority for payment from your manager. You put together all the documents and you send it to your manager requesting for payment. It is very important when you're going through the orientation for the carrier that you find out how these steps are carried out. We are giving you right now a generic order of events on how to finalize a claim. This is a generally accepted practice in 99% of carriers, but you want to make sure that you properly follow steps of order that carrier wants you to handle that claim, because every deployment is going to be different. However, everything that you will be learning here are the steps and practices in desk adjusting, but carriers can have a particular order that they want it done in. Once authority has been granted, you want to go ahead and settle that claim with the insured. You want to review the estimate summary with the insured, make sure that they understand what's in the estimate. You want to explain their depreciation and when they can request a release of depreciation when it's completed. You want to ask them what is their established preferred payment method. They can receive payment via digitally, or they can receive a check in the mail. And then you make payment. Once payment has been made, you want to complete the settlement script in the system. Schedule a follow-up with the insured. You maybe set it for 30 days from the date of settlement that you can reach out to the insured and see if everything was okay, they receive payment, and make sure that they don't have any additional questions Once payment is made, there may be some letters required by the state for you to send out to the insured regarding their claim as well as part of the closing process. Fourth, you want to close the financials on that claim. Fifth, you want to close your coverages on that claim. Sixth, you want to go ahead and close the claim. Make sure you complete this in Exact Analysis and also inside the CMS system for the carrier. Here's some claim practices that you want to be able to remember during the claims process. This is additional information, and they are as follows. Follow-up calls are mandatory and should be completed 20 to 25 days after payment. The insured will receive a survey that's called a CLF survey 30 days after the payment. Settlement should be made voice to voice, especially denials or non-payments. The customer deserves the opportunity to ask questions and voice concerns in real time. A no-contact settlement requires 3 days of contact attempts made at different times of the day and requires an email and a letter to be sent, requesting contact before closing after another contact attempt is made. A claim file should remain open until all investigation, evaluation, negotiations, and explanations have been concluded, and the loss and vendor payments and or required closing letters have been issued to the customer or authorized participants. Claim cycle times. Virtual wind and hail assignments should be settled the same day received. Field, wind, and hail claims should be settled on site. Water claims should be settled within 24 hours. There will be exceptions to these, but there should be good reason and it must be documented. Regular file notes should be made noting what the next steps to closure every few days. At the settlement, ask customer if they would prefer an email for a follow-up post-settlement call or a text and note it in the CMS CPT system as the last entry where it states additional information. And lastly, find out what letters need to be sent after settlement to the insured. Find it in Right Answers when you're dealing with AAA insurance policies. Or you can always consult your manager.